Hi, and welcome back once again to Energia Reiki, lowercase Empress 87. So I decide that I'm not gonna do tarot card videos anymore or crystals. But if you like some of my bracelets, earrings, or necklaces, you can always visit my Instagram page, and I'm gonna put the description down below, so you can check it out if you like them. There's some beautiful colors, different styles, and yes, um, it'll be amazing if you do that for me. Now, I'm going to focus more on what the original intention of creating these videos was for me. So, I'm not a professional therapist, psychologist, or any of that. So, every single video that I post from now on will be related to my own personal experiences, and not just within myself, but with others around me. And it's really hot out here, so I'm so sorry. In different books. And as we go, I'm gonna start introducing books that have been really helpful for me, and that you guys can get if you want to. I try to do videos in Spanish. My Spanish is horrible. I Because I was trying to reach more of the Hispanic community. Uh, because I'm Hispanic 100%. I was born and raised part of my life till I was 14 in Mexico, that's my main. That's the audience that I'm trying to reach mainly. And I came to the States when I was 14, so you can say that I have picked a little bit of both cultures. I still have the half and half within me, the seriousness, but at the same time, I have my Hispanic roots. And originally, that was my main goal, to reach that audience, because I want to create more self awareness and more things that happen around us that we are so oblivious about it. But Spanish can be nice, but some people don't take it right. So I'm just gonna do it on the language that I feel more comfortable talking about it. And obviously, what's English? That's my second language, but it's the language that I feel more comfortable with talking now. And but the message is still the same, and the goal is still the same. Trying to reach my beautiful Hispanic, Latino audience, and I want to share videos that things that have helped me through my healing, and things that I wasn't aware of, and how becoming a self-aware, conscious person has helped me a lot, and it's still a work in progress. And remember, my videos sometimes I talk about anything and everything, because that's who I am. Sometimes I'm gonna talk about one thing and jump to a different topic, because that's how it feels in the moment. Like a lot of you that have been following me, I have struggles with borderline personality disorder, and later on we're gonna talk about a little bit more what borderline personality disorder is in my own experience and in my own terms. Remember, I'm not a professional um, psychologist and psychiatrist, so this is how the things that I have learned uh, within myself in my own, illness and disorders and stuff like that, and how I have learned to manage them throughout my life and not make the words of me come out. I have bipolar disorder and severe depression and anxiety. So that's one of the few things that I deal with growing up and in a daily basis. Unfortunately, you cannot get rid of this, but you can find ways to manage and control them. And that's why I use alternate holistic methods, like I said, and that's a personal choice not to use medicine, but you always want to make sure that you do the right thing for your body, mind, and soul. I did medicine half my life. It did help me, it did wonders to me, but it got to the point I'm like, I think I'm done with it. I want to try a different approach and a different thing. But always do what is right for you and what feels right for you. Okay? Um, now, moving along. So today I'm going to talk about, and remember, these videos are about my own personal healing and the things, traumas, and everything that I had struggled with my entire life. Let's make a point on that. So, one of the biggest things for me that I learned in the past 2 years was attachment style, because why not? And it's commonly referred not just on our Hispanic Latino community, or but it's like a wide range that we call it daddy and mommy issues. Um, we live in a society, and unfortunately, that's how it has been in the past few generations. Um, because our parents had to work, 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 especially the ones that have migrated from different countries. And you need to work, 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 work to create for what you want. And unfortunately, we neglect, and I say we because I have been part of that group, neglect our children. And the parents, grandparents that have come, especially for the ones that have migrated, especially those, have, do that, neglected that part of the relationship. And yes, sometimes, because I was taught that in order to get what you want, you have to sacrifice things. But how much is enough sacrifice? How much you gonna sacrifice with those experiences, with those children especially, in order to get what you want? The first 5 years of a kid are the most important in a kid's life. I have 4 kids, and my relationship with the first two is way different from my last two. Because with my first two, I was one of the believers that work, 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 create, create, create. If I had to provide for my kids, I need to work my ass off. And it got to the point that at some point in my life, I had 3 jobs just to get them what they wanted. But I was not seeing what they needed. And sometimes what they need is not an Xbox or a PlayStation, especially on those first couple of the most expensive Barbie house. Sometimes what they need is affection and emotional connection. But if you are like me, like because I didn't have that growing up, I didn't think that was important. That was just irrelevant. That eventually they will find it on their own, and that was a huge mistake for me because you develop these attachment styles that are not very healthy. The most common that I have learned of, and that AK referred to daddy and mommy issues, are anxious avoidance style, uh, fearful avoidance style, and avoidance style. And I have a combination of all three, which is known as disorganized style. It is still a work in progress because I it's just something that I had dealt with my entire life. So it's not gonna changes are gonna happen gradually, but it's not gonna happen overnight. Um, the the anxious style is manifested like people being really clingy and needy. And remember, it doesn't. These kind of things do not respect genders. It can be manifested in men and women generally. Um, uh, they tend to cling and need too much affection and too much attention from their partners, and it gets to the point that the partner feels suffocated, that they just don't want to be there, that they just want to run because they just like can't do this. This is too much, like all their emotional needs to be fulfilled through their partners, and that's part of what anxious style is. Now, the second style, and remember, these are all my own interpretations, my own language. It might not come up very like super book style, but I try to make it in a way that I remember and I can share with others. So the second style is the fearful avoidance, and that one is one of the second most common when people tend to build relationships and not trust their partner. They think that they're cheating, they're hiding things, they're checking their cell phones 24/7, who you're talking to, and like they time the person, where are you, why you're not here, and all of that. They don't trust their friends around them. They don't even trust themselves anymore, and they tend to push people away. In this, and sometimes because of that, they detach emotionally, which is, can be confusing at times because these people crave love. They crave that intimacy, that loving, deep connection, and it's just they don't have it. They can't get it. And that was one of my biggest struggles, um, creating especially personal, intimate relationships at all levels, especially friends. If we have a little visitor here, she wants to be part of the video. The third one is, and that's number one in our society nowadays, is avoidant connection style. I'm sorry. And this one is when people are emotionally unavailable. Like the emotional availability is not there at all. Like you can go through certain struggle personally, and the other person, that be your friend, your partner, family member, it's just not there. They feel overwhelmed by you being emotional. And it can be a little bit contradicting with the first style, because the first style is anxious, you're overly clingy and overly needy. But there's a difference between clingy and needy and being just emotional, because sometimes we go through struggles in life, and it gets too much and we have to like express it some way somehow. And so people tend to be emotional, other people tend to be just like overwhelmed and angry and stuff like that. So when you are avoidant detached, it's just completely, there's no emotional availability. These are mostly people that tend to create connections at a superficial base. That I'm gonna marry you because I'm gonna get something from you, and you're gonna get something from me. But the emotional connection always not there. Like they can do their own thing and they don't really care about what the other person is. It can manifest in connections and relationships that are based physically, strictly sexual, and nothing else. And if the other person tries to get intimate, like trying to get to know the other person runs. That's an avoidant style, completely like that, detached, avoidant detached style, and that's one of the most popular nowadays in society. Um, and then it's disorganized. It's a combination of all three. It can create a lot of chaos. It can create a lot of drama in your life and those around you, because especially like I said, the first 5 years of a kid, they need that. They need that love. They need that nurture. They need that motherly energy. But at the same time, they need to create healthy boundaries. How to respect themselves and how to respect others. How to value their body, and respect everything about them, and understand that they as human beings are as much importance as others around them. And that has been a hard lesson for me, and it still is still now. My mother suffered for severe mental illness, and as you can see, I inherit some of those. And it's been a struggle living with them, and try to have a normal life without affecting others around me. And at the same time, it still be me and be okay with being who I am, and accept that this is who I am. But at the same time, you're trying to create these healthy styles. So how how it has affected others. I have sabotaged relationships in the past, that could have been helpful for me and healthy for me, because of that fear of creating that connection, of letting someone else in my life. I have violated my own values and worth, and not respect myself, and let people take advantage of me in so many ways, not just emotionally, but physically, mentally, and psychologically, and at some point financially too. Uh, it has been a turn in my life that I wanna create that for my kids, especially for my kids, because I want my kids to have a healthy lifestyle, a healthy self-esteem, in that in it has to be really very strong, but at the same time, you don't want to come off rigid or self-rigid, like my way or the highway. No, you need to learn how to experience and how to go and navigate through those waters of showing your kids how they need to be okay with being emotional. Because for example, my son, he's a very sensitive person. He's a very sensitive little boy. And he, especially right now, he has troubles at school because, more school have this system that they want to go, learn, and expect every single kid to learn the same way. And he's just a different kind of boy, a very sensitive, very emotional, and it gets to the point that sometimes it's overwhelming for him. And I remember thinking, like, you know what? I do respect everybody else's point of view. I respect everybody else's teaching, and I'm okay with it, because we all have different styles to learn things. But we're teaching him that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to feel what you feel because it's valid. But at the same time, we teach him, there's a way to manage. Like if you want to cry, it's okay to cry because it's your body telling you, I'm feeling something and I need to let it out. But at the same time, you don't want to go like crazy and let those overwhelm others in you and lose control of it. And you don't want to let your emotions run the show 100% because that's not healthy either. And also create those boundaries, like you need to respect others. Like if somebody's talking or if somebody's saying something, raise your hand. For example, those are little things with kids that you want to teach them that and to respect their bodies and what their bodies feel. And that if somebody touches them, and that's a different conversation for a different day, uh, they need to be able to speak up, to not be fear. Uh, the other ways to teach, and that's very important. That's things that I noticed that in our society, especially in our culture, I'm not saying all of it, but most of it, our parents didn't have that education that a lot of us have now, or kids have now. In teaching them this is very important. Sometimes they're not gonna take it right because they're used to this way of thinking. I remember me trying to show my grandma and trying to teach my cousins, my aunts, my own mom, uh, these things, and they were just like, "You fucking crazy, you're stupid." And they're the believers that therapy, they don't believe in therapy. And like I said, I respect that, but sometimes therapy does wonders. It did wonders for me at the given time when I needed therapy, like super therapy, like a big time. It did wonders, and I'm like, I just offer, that advice all the time. Like if you need help or you're struggling with something, and people around you can't really help you with it, there's always therapy. There's always other ways to heal, to find peace within yourself. Another things that attachment styles had created in my life because I didn't have that structure, the guidance. I used to tend to obsess with things to the point that I was like, and it got to the point that I overwhelmed those around me and push them away because my belief systems, and like I said, this is still an ongoing thing that I'm still struggling and still learning with it. Because if you like me, that you didn't have that structure growing up, you need something to attach to. My poor baby, she just so tired. Got out of school and she just want mommy. um, you need attached to something. You need to build something that makes you believe this is who I am. And if you're like in this journey that trying to find yourself, you're gonna learn about a lot of things, and you need to be open-minded. That's my advice. Be open-minded. Just take what resonates with you, and what doesn't, let it go. I obsessed with astrology at some point, uh, and I still love it. That's what I say. I'm not gonna make more videos about tarot cards and crystals because the past few days have been a lot of self-reflection and going within myself and figuring out who I am. Uh, I needed to attach to something, to because I didn't know who I was. I'm like, who I am. And I started learning, and I have been learning about attachment styles for the longest. And this is the first time I made a video about it. Because it's not just a spiritual aspect, it's psychological aspect as well. And everything combines and helps a person to go through uh, self-healing process. Uh, I have my favorite teacher, and that's my life coach forever. That I was gonna follow her forever. Christina Loves. She's been amazing, and I have learned so much through her words of wisdom that have helped me to to grow as a human being and find my own self and find my own path and become whole on my own. But yes, at the beginning of it got crazy. I was so obsessed with twin flames, with soulmates, with a bunch of other stuff, and then learning about attachment styles, and then the ways we attach to things. It makes sense. I'm like, I attach to these things because I need something to have meaning in my life, and sometimes those things aren't healthy. Um, the spiritual aspect, it helped me to find out. And like I said, my videos sometimes are not gonna make sense, so bear with me, because there's so many things that I want to share with you guys that it just keep like coming, coming, coming. But yes, the first part was about attachment style. Um, you know how those affect our life and how it manifests on unhealthy relationships. And now we're gonna talk about addictions and obsessions and struggles. And how this, whether you believe they're not related, they are related because we need to attach to something and create something meaningful in our life. Um, it can become sad and make her, she's snoring now, it make us make bad decisions in life. Um, and for me, it was basically, I was so obsessed with crystals. I love crystals, don't take me wrong. I am 100% believer that crystals carry uh, frequency and energy, healing energies within them, and they will call your name, believe it or not, and connect with you when you're ready to start that process. And when you don't need them, let them go. I have a wide variety collection of tarot cards because I love astrology. I love cards, and I rely on my cards once in a while when I have a question or a thought. Remember, all those answers are always going to be within you, 100%. But sometimes you need that, secondary advice per se. And I go and pick up a card or just lay it out as a reading and do it for myself. Um, I didn't feel right doing them in public. I tried to, but I guess it's just not me, like doing that in public. I guess my calling is a different thing. I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to figure it out and trying to find out. And then crystal color therapy has done wonders to me to bring that connection to my own body into the present moment because that's something that I struggle with a lot. Being in the present moment, enjoying every little things that happen to me, and then I'm like, God, I went through that and I just missed it because my mind was wondering someone else. So, so yeah. Crystal therapy and color therapy has some wonders. And I'm very good at crafting, so I do that a lot more now. Like I create my bracelets, and those are for sale, by the way. So those are the only thing I sell in internet and my Instagram. If you guys, whoever watches this is or like interested, you can always check it out and see if you're interested. Because like I said, I do believe that crystals have healing properties and carry like certain energetic frequencies within them that can help you lift up your energy and your vibration as a human being. But you can do that on your own too. You can tap more into your inner energy, into your inner self, and go within and figure it out. What are the problems? Attachment styles, for example, are related directly to our sacral and our root chakra. For those that are familiar with chakras, those that are not very familiar with chakras, you can check some of my first couple of videos when I talk about chakra healing and all that. In that is related to our sense of security, to our sense of belonging, that we belong to some group, and that's very important too. Like if you don't have those secure, healthy attachments, you're not gonna feel that you belong anywhere and anyone with anyone, and then you're gonna create this unhealthy relationships and connections with a bunch of people and within yourself. So the healing always has to start with yourself, with nobody else. Once you start doing the job, once you start exceeding was exuding that magnetic energy of healthiness, you're gonna attract that kind of people, healthy people into your life, people that resonate with you truly are. But if you don't know who you are, then you're gonna attract people that are the same, that they know who I am. We always attract what we are on the inside. And if we don't know who we are on the inside, then we attract people like that. And that's what I learned about astrology, like the sun, the moon, the rising, all of that, because the moon is who we are indoors, behind closed doors, on intimate connection within yourselves. In creating those intimate relationships, having that intimacy with others is a must nowadays. That you need to be yourself is very important. And if being yourself means that you're a weirdo, which is a dorky person or a nerdy person, which a goofy person, whatever you feel that you are an inside, that's what you should portray on your outside. But yeah, you have to be serious at times, and you have to be really serious and take things serious because there are certain situations in life that require that. But you should not let that part of you take over 100%. You have to let that inner child come out and play and just be a kid. Because even as an adult, we have that side to us, that inner child that wants to have fun, that wants to enjoy life just because, that wants to go with the flow just because. So we need to be able to do that. And unfortunately, if we didn't have healthy attachments growing up, all of this is going to be missing. Our life is going to be messy, chaotic, painful, and it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen overnight, but it will happen when it's supposed to happen, when it's ready to happen. And trust me, if you believe in signs and there's a design or assignment for each one of us, they're gonna start showing up in your life. I'm a believer that you should not fight them, that you should not go against the flow, because the more you go against the current, remember, it's like the ocean. It's when you go against the waves, it hurts. It hurts when it hits you, and it kind of drowns you. And that's what going against what is meant for you means. That the more you fight it, the more, unfortunately, situations in situations that you're gonna find yourself that are not gonna be pretty. So uh, the healing process is not easy. It's really really painful, and you need to use every single little tool. That's my advice. Use every single little tool that has been presented to you, that is being given to you. Combine them all together and heal. Start yourself healing. Um, I love to read, and that's why I that's one of my healing tools. When I feel that I wanna do something that is not good for me, I just grab a book and read it. And that's why my way of fighting addictions, because I used to tend to have a lot of addictions. I was an alcoholic, I was a sex addict, and uh, shopaholic. I would buy. I have a collection of things that sometimes I don't even need. And I try to transpire all of those addictions into something good. Like when I feel that I'm going to relapse, I grab a book, I pick one of my crystals because I have so many, and I just feel them, feel the connection. In a way, like when I feel like I'm in that maniac state, is when we suffering with bipolar, suffer from particular mood swings, fluctuate. For that, I wear this beautiful crystal. And it helps me, like I said, it helps me. But that's just me. For you, it could be something different. And I go play with my kids. If I'm like super energetic, I do something like go and clean my house, take care of the garden, mow the garden, and my husband does that because that's his thing. Play with my kids, have fun with my kids, and use all of those things that are negative for your advantage and to create good memories. And when I feel depressed, what I do is just binge Netflix, eat some ice cream, um, and just lay in bed and, and listen to my thoughts. What are my thoughts telling me? And sometimes those thoughts are not pretty, uh, but I listen to them. Sometimes you have to create those healthy attachments yourself, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong that being your own teacher, being your own mother, being your own father. I sometimes I talk with myself, and I used to think that's crazy. If people listen to me, they're gonna think I'm crazy, but that's my way of coping. Like when I'm dealing with someone with something, I'm sorry, that's really painful. I let that inner voice, and sometimes it comes out like, and I answer my own questions. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being your own mom and being your own dad, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't want to become detached completely because it's important that you create connections with others because it's healthy. You want to create a healthy environment. You want to have friends, not to the point that rely on them 100% all the time, but you need to create that, those attachments, those connections that if you're going through some struggle, you can go to someone and just talk without being like super draining, if it makes any sense. There's always has to be a balance for everything and anything in life. It's not easy, but you can do it. Uh, like we said on Spanish, querer es poder. You want to do it, you want to do it. Some of you, some of us are born with the inner strength that is just amazing, unbelievable. Use it, tap into it, harness it for something good, to create something for yourself, for your family, for other, or to help others. Every experience that we as human beings have gone through, some of them have been really, really painful, really traumatizing, and I want to talk about more later on in more videos, and, and share them with others. Don't feel ashamed or talking about these things because some of these things are taboo, especially in our community, but they're a reality and there's something that is affecting us in general. And talking about it, it helps to bring awareness to yourself, to ourselves, and to others. So, yes, um, this has been my experience with attachment styles and how it manifested in my life, um, and how all of the little things that I have learned has helped me to create healthy styles, attachment styles, to not become overly obsessed with people, places, and things, and to be able to let go and to be able to create healthy boundaries for myself, for others, and for my children, because that's the main reason I'm doing all of this. Yes, partly for myself because I want to be a better person, a healthy person, but for my kids because at the end of the day, this is our legacy to them. And what we create is gonna impact the future and who they're gonna become in the future. So having healthy boundaries, having self-love, having self-respect, and respect for others is a key for a beautiful, bright future and a beautiful uh, plan. So if you, yeah, that's what I have to say. So uh, we'll see what we talk about next video. I don't want to plan it out, but I'll let you guys know and let me know what you think and say hello to Miss Daenerys Chichis Pascal. And